Chosen one, God is relocating you right now. And the reason this message feels so close to your life is because your spirit already knows the old place is finished. You may not have the full address yet. You may not know whether this is about your home, your work, your relationships, your city, your circle, or the private world inside your own heart. But something has changed. The place that once felt familiar now feels too tight. The conversations that once felt normal now drain you. The routines that once gave you comfort now feel like they are asking you to shrink. This is not punishment. This is movement. A higher hand has been pressing gently on the parts of your life that can no longer carry your next assignment. Not to shame you, not to scare you, not to make you lose everything, but to prepare you for the place where your gift can finally breathe. Your new home is not just ready as a location. It is ready as an atmosphere. It is ready as a season. It is ready as a doorway. And the gift waiting there is not lost. It has been reserved. But before we talk about the gift, we have to talk about the place you are being moved from. Because many chosen ones miss their season of relocation for one painful reason. They keep trying to revive a place that God has already finished using. You keep asking, why does this feel different now? Why does this room feel heavier? Why do these people feel further away? Why does the same routine that used to help me now feel like it is pulling the life out of me? Why do I feel guilty for wanting peace? Why do I feel like something is calling me forward, even when I cannot explain it to anyone? Chosen one, that inner tension is not always confusion. Sometimes it is confirmation. Sometimes your spirit recognizes a shift before your mind has the language for it. Sometimes God begins moving you internally before anything changes externally. And this is why you need to stay with this message until the end. Because by the time we are finished, you will understand why the old place no longer feels like home, how to know the difference between running from discomfort and being led by God, what you must not carry into your next season, and why the gift waiting at your new home requires a different version of you. This is not about making an emotional decision. This is about learning how to recognize divine movement with wisdom, peace, and discernment. Because not every closed door is rejection. Sometimes it is a moving truck. Sometimes God does not announce relocation by giving you a perfect map. Sometimes He announces it by removing your peace from places you keep trying to settle in. Sometimes He lets the familiar become uncomfortable, not because the familiar was evil, but because it has completed its purpose. Sometimes He allows what used to comfort you to become too small for your growth. You are not ungrateful because the old place does not feel the same. You are not selfish because your heart is asking for room. You are not disloyal because your spirit can sense a new direction. You are not broken because the life you once accepted no longer fits the person God is forming in you. There are places that are good for your survival, but dangerous for your calling. There are rooms where you can exist, but not expand. There are relationships where you can be loved, as long as you remain familiar, predictable, available, and small. There are environments that will tolerate your pain, but resist your healing, because your healing changes the arrangement. That is why this season feels so strange. You may still be physically in the same place, but spiritually, you have already started leaving. You can feel it when you wake up, and the atmosphere feels heavier than it should. You can feel it when you sit in a familiar room and wonder why it suddenly feels like your spirit is standing at the door. You can feel it when certain conversations drain you faster than before, not because you hate the people, but because your soul can no longer pretend that old noise is normal. You can feel it in your body, that tiredness that sleep does not fully fix. That pressure in your chest when you imagine staying exactly where you are for another year. That strange emotional wave that rises when you think about leaving, not because you are weak, but because part of you is grieving a version of life you tried so hard to make work. You can feel it in your dreams. Maybe you have dreamed of houses, roads, keys, empty rooms, packed bags, unfamiliar places, old doors closing, or walking through a place that feels both unknown and strangely familiar. Maybe the dream did not make sense when you woke up, but the feeling stayed with you, like something inside you had already visited a place your feet have not touched yet. You can feel it in your tolerance. The drama you used to explain away now exhausts you. The gossip you used to sit through now feels like dust in your spirit. The old patterns you used to survive now feel like chains. You are not becoming cold. You are becoming clear. And clarity can feel lonely at first. Because when God begins relocating a chosen one, He often starts by changing what no longer feels like home. He changes your appetite. He changes your sensitivity. He changes your ability to endure what you used to call normal. He changes the way you hear certain words, the way you feel certain rooms, the way you respond to certain invitations. What once felt harmless begins to feel heavy. What once felt exciting begins to feel empty. What once felt safe begins to feel too small. This is not random. This is not coincidence. This is not you being difficult. This is a signal. But here is where you need wisdom, because not every desire to leave comes from God. Sometimes people want to leave because they are tired of being challenged. Sometimes they want to move because they do not want to face themselves. Sometimes they call it a new season when it is really avoidance. Sometimes they call it spiritual direction when it is really fear wearing holy language. So you cannot treat every discomfort as a divine instruction. There is a difference between escaping and being led. Escaping is loud inside. It is rushed. It is panicked. It demands immediate proof. It wants to burn bridges so it does not have to feel uncertainty. It says, if I do not leave right now, I will lose myself. Being led is different. It may still feel uncomfortable, but underneath the discomfort, there is a quiet steadiness. There is grief, but not chaos. There is fear, but not frantic pressure. There is uncertainty, but also a deeper knowing that staying the same would cost more than moving forward. Escaping is driven by panic. Being led is guided by peace. Escaping is trying to get away from pain. Being led is walking toward purpose. Escaping wants a new place to fix an old pattern. Being led allows God to form a new person before releasing a new place. So in your imagination, I want you to picture 3 doors in front of you. You do not need to move. You do not need to write anything down. Just let the image form inside your mind. The first door is the door of fear. Behind this door is the version of you that wants to run because staying requires honesty. This door sounds urgent, but it does not feel clean. It is full of pressure, anger, and reaction. The second door is the door of ego. Behind this door is the version of you that wants to leave just to prove something. This door wants attention. It wants people to notice. It wants the old place to regret losing you. It is not really asking for freedom. It is asking for validation. The third door is the door of God. Behind this door is the version of you that is willing to be led, even without having every detail. This door may scare you, but it does not poison your spirit. It stretches you, but it does not degrade you. It asks for obedience, but it also carries peace. Now ask yourself quietly, which door has been speaking the loudest? Not which door is easiest. Not which door makes everyone else comfortable. Not which door gives you the fastest answer. Which door carries the deepest peace? Because the old place may be finished, but God will not move you by confusion. He may move you through uncertainty, but not through spiritual chaos. He may ask you to trust Him without seeing everything, but He will not require you to betray wisdom, integrity, and peace. This is why the old place feels so uncomfortable right now. God is not only showing you what you need to leave, He is showing you how you need to leave. Do not leave with bitterness if God is asking you to leave with blessing. Do not leave with revenge if God is asking you to leave with maturity. Do not leave with panic if God is asking you to leave with trust. Do not leave carrying the same fear that made the old place feel like a prison. Because if you leave with the same spirit that kept you bound, You will recreate the old atmosphere in a new location. You will change the walls, but not the weight. You will change the address, but not the pattern. You will change the people around you, but still feel trapped inside yourself. God is too wise to only relocate your body while leaving your spirit in the same condition. This is why the preparation feels slow. This is why some doors are closing before the new one is fully visible. This is why your peace is being interrupted in familiar places. This is why certain relationships feel different. This is why the old language does not fit your mouth anymore. This is why you cannot explain yourself the way you used to. God is not just moving you from where you are. He is moving you from who you were. There is a version of you that survived in that old place. Honor that version. Do not hate it. Do not mock it. Do not call it weak. That version prayed when nobody heard. That version endured when nobody understood. That version kept going when the evidence looked empty. That version learned how to survive in rooms that did not know how to protect your gift. But survival is not the same as assignment. And the version of you that survived the old place cannot be the same version that stewards the new home. This is where many chosen ones struggle. They feel the call forward, but they keep trying to bring the survival identity with them. They bring suspicion into new relationships. They bring scarcity into new provision. They bring defensiveness into new conversations. They bring the need to over-explain into spaces where God simply wants them to rest. But your new home will require a new posture, not a fake personality, not a perfect version of yourself, not someone who never feels fear, a steadier you, a clearer you, a more surrendered you, a you that no longer confuses chaos with normal, a you that no longer apologizes for needing peace, a you that no longer calls a cage home just because it is familiar. This is why the old place has completed its assignment. It taught you what you could survive. It revealed what you were carrying. It exposed what needed healing. It showed you who could recognize your spirit and who only recognized your usefulness. It trained your discernment. It sharpened your hearing. It made you sensitive to what is life-giving and what is only familiar. But it was never meant to be your final address. And I know that sentence may touch something deep in you, because part of you has been afraid to admit it. You have been afraid that wanting more means you are unthankful. You have been afraid that leaving means you are cruel. You have been afraid that choosing peace means you are abandoning the people, places and patterns that once shaped you. But chosen one, sometimes gratitude looks like blessing the old place and still obeying the call to move. Sometimes maturity looks like saying, "This season mattered, but it is not my destination." Sometimes faith looks like walking away before everyone understands why. And sometimes God protects your gift by making it impossible for you to stay comfortable where you are no longer assigned. This is the part you must carry into the next part of this message. Your discomfort is not the enemy. Your restlessness is not always anxiety. Your desire for room is not selfish. Your sensitivity is not weakness. Your grief does not mean you are going the wrong way. And the old place, losing its peace, may be one of the clearest signs that God is making you ready for the new. But now we have to go deeper. Because once God begins relocating a chosen one, the hardest part is not always leaving the place. Sometimes the hardest part is releasing the guilt that comes with growth. Sometimes the hardest part is accepting that everyone cannot come with you. Sometimes the hardest part is realizing that the new home requires you to stop carrying old emotional baggage across a sacred threshold. So before we move further, let this settle in your spirit. God is not asking you to despise where you came from. He is asking you to stop confusing preparation with permanence. The old place was a classroom. The new place is a commissioning. The old place taught you endurance. The new place will require stewardship. The old place showed you the wound. The new place will reveal the gift. And if this is speaking to you, write this one sentence in the comments. I am willing to be led, not forced, not rushed, not panicked, led. Because what God is doing in your life right now is not random movement. It is sacred relocation, and your gift is not behind you. It is waiting in the place your obedience is preparing you to enter. And the reason obedience feels so heavy right now is because relocation does not only move your feet, it touches your attachments. It touches the people you thought would understand. It touches the places where you built memories. It touches the identity you created just to survive. It touches the version of you that learned how to be needed, how to be available, how to be silent when you were hurting, how to make other people comfortable while your own spirit was running out of breath. This is why divine relocation can feel like rejection at first, because when God begins moving you into alignment, it may look like loss before it looks like blessing. It may feel like distance before it feels like direction. It may sound like silence before it becomes instruction. And if you do not understand what is happening, you may start begging God to restore something He is actually trying to release you from. Chosen one, I need you to hear this clearly. Not everyone who was close to you was assigned to cross the threshold with you. Not every relationship that shaped you is meant to go forward with you. Not every place that held your tears is meant to hold your gift. Not every person who knew the old you will be able to recognize the version of you God is forming now. And that does not mean you have to hate them. It does not mean they are evil. It does not mean you are better. It simply means some connections belong to a season. And if you try to turn a seasonal connection into a permanent covering, you will start bleeding in places where you were supposed to be healing. This is one of the most painful parts of being relocated by God. You do not only leave behind what hurt you, sometimes you leave behind what helped you. Sometimes you leave behind a place that was once an answer to prayer. Sometimes you leave behind people who walked with you for a season, but cannot walk with you into your assignment. Sometimes you leave behind a version of yourself that was not wrong, but is no longer enough for where God is taking you. And that is why grief rises. You may be grieving and still be obedient. You may be uncertain and still be led. You may miss the old place and still know you cannot return. You may love people deeply and still understand that access must change. You may feel sadness and still be walking in the right direction. Do not let grief convince you that God made a mistake. Grief is not always a warning. Sometimes grief is the sound of your heart, honoring what mattered while your spirit obeys what is next. There are people who only knew how to relate to the wounded version of you. They knew how to talk to you when you were struggling. They knew how to advise you when you were unsure. They knew how to comfort you when you were small, broken, and easy to define. But when you started healing, something shifted. When you stopped explaining yourself so much, they called you distant. When you started protecting your peace, they called you selfish. When you became less available for chaos, they said you changed. When you stopped reacting, they thought you became cold. When you stopped shrinking, they did not know where to place you anymore. And that is where the guilt entered. Because part of you still wants to be understood by people who benefited from your over-explaining. Part of you still wants permission from people who were comfortable with your old limits. Part of you still wants to prove that your growth is not rejection. But chosen one, some people will only believe you love them if you abandon yourself for them. That is not love. That is access without stewardship. That is closeness without honor. That is familiarity without alignment. And God is too protective of your gift to let every familiar voice keep the same level of influence in your next season. This is not because He wants you isolated forever. It is because He is teaching you the difference between loneliness and consecration. Loneliness says, no one sees me. Consecration says, God is separating me long enough to rebuild what constant access kept draining. There is a kind of distance that wounds, but there is also a kind of distance that heals. There is a silence that punishes, but there is also a silence that protects. There is a separation that comes from pride, but there is also a separation that comes from obedience. This is why you have felt torn. You are not just deciding whether to leave a place. You are learning how to leave without turning your heart into stone. God is not asking you to become hard. He is asking you to become whole. He is not asking you to despise the people who cannot come with you. He is asking you to stop handing your future to people who only have language for your past. He is not asking you to pretend it does not hurt. He is asking you to stop using pain as proof that you should stay, because pain can be present in the will of God. Ask Abraham. Leaving the familiar did not mean his heart felt nothing. Ask Ruth. Leaving Moab did not mean she had no grief. Ask Joseph. Being moved from the pit to the palace did not erase the wound of betrayal overnight. Movement does not mean the heart feels nothing. Movement means obedience becomes stronger than attachment. And now God is touching something deeper. He is touching the guilt you carry for growing. The guilt that whispers, "Who do you think you are to want a different life?" The guilt that says, "How dare you need peace when other people still need access?" The guilt that says, "You are abandoning them if you stop explaining yourself." The guilt that says, "You are becoming selfish because you no longer have the energy to carry conversations that drain your spirit." The guilt that says, "If you really loved them, you would stay the same." But chosen one, listen carefully. Guilt is not always conviction. Sometimes guilt is the echo of old conditioning. Sometimes guilt is the voice of people who trained you to feel responsible for their emotional comfort. Sometimes guilt is the residue of a season where your survival depended on keeping everyone else calm. Sometimes guilt appears when you finally choose yourself in a way that feels unfamiliar. And sometimes guilt becomes the final chain between you and your new home. Because if the enemy cannot stop God from preparing the place, he will try to make you feel too guilty to enter it. He will make you feel guilty for leaving, guilty for resting, guilty for changing, guilty for saying less, guilty for needing space, guilty for not being who everyone expected you to remain. But boundaries are not betrayal. Distance is not hatred. Silence is not cruelty. Growth is not arrogance. Peace is not selfishness. And obedience is not abandonment. You are allowed to outgrow places that once protected you. You are allowed to outgrow conversations that once entertained you. You are allowed to outgrow relationships that only worked when you were easy to control. You are allowed to outgrow versions of yourself that were built from fear. You are allowed to become unavailable for what keeps reopening the wound God is trying to heal. You are allowed to protect what God is building in you. And you do not owe anyone an apology for becoming who you were always intended to be. Let that sentence sit inside your spirit. You do not owe anyone an apology for becoming who you were always intended to be. Because the new home God has prepared for you cannot be entered by the version of you that still needs everyone to understand. That version of you will keep standing at the threshold, looking back, asking for approval from people who cannot see what God has shown you. And this is where many chosen ones get stuck. They do not stay because God told them to stay. They stay because guilt speaks louder than guidance. They stay because someone might misunderstand. They stay because leaving would force them to accept that some people loved their role, not their soul. They stay because the old place is painful, but at least it is predictable. They stay because they know how to survive there. But the new home is not calling for your survival identity. It is calling for your surrendered identity. And there is a difference. Your survival identity says, "I must explain everything so people do not leave me." Your surrendered identity says, "I can be misunderstood and still obey God." Your survival identity says, "I must stay useful to stay loved." Your surrendered identity says, "I am loved, even when I am resting." Your survival identity says, "I must carry the old weight because that is who I have always been." Your surrendered identity says, "I can honor where I came from without dragging it into where I am going." Your survival identity says, "If I change, I will lose everyone." Your surrendered identity says, "If I do not change, I may lose myself." This is the deeper relocation. God is not only moving you out of an address, He is moving you out of agreement with fear. He is moving you out of emotional debt. He is moving you out of the need to perform for acceptance. He is moving you out of the habit of calling anxiety responsibility. He is moving you out of the pattern of confusing constant access with love. He is moving you out of the old version of you that learned to survive by shrinking. And because that version helped you survive, releasing it may feel like betrayal. But it is not betrayal. It is graduation. The old you was not useless. The old you carried you here. The old you prayed through nights nobody saw. The old you endured confusion that would have made other people collapse. The old you learned how to keep going without applause, without clarity, without perfect support. But the old you was built for survival in the wilderness. The new you is being built for stewardship in the promise. And you cannot manage a promise with a wilderness identity. In the wilderness, you learned how to endure scarcity. In the promise, you must learn how to steward provision. In the wilderness, you learned how to protect yourself from danger. In the promise, you must learn how to receive without suspicion. In the wilderness, you learned how to walk alone. In the promise, you must learn how to recognize divine connections. In the wilderness, you learned how to survive closed doors. In the promise, you must learn how to walk through open ones without feeling unworthy. This is why the relocation has taken time. God could have opened the new door sooner, but He loves you too much to let you carry old chains into a new atmosphere and call it blessing. Because what would happen if He gave you the new home while you still believed you did not deserve peace? What would happen if He brought the right people while you still expected betrayal from everyone? What would happen if He released provision while you still made decisions from panic? What would happen if He gave you visibility while you still felt guilty for being seen? What would happen if He placed the gift in your hands while your heart was still apologizing for existing? This is why preparation is mercy. Delay is not always denial. Silence is not always absence. Separation is not always rejection. Discomfort is not always punishment. And relocation is not always about geography. Sometimes God delays the arrival because He is healing the receiver. Sometimes He slows the move because He is strengthening your discernment. Sometimes He removes access because He is teaching you how to protect the gift before the gift arrives. Sometimes He lets you feel the emptiness of the old place so you will stop romanticizing what was draining you. And sometimes He waits until you finally stop asking, "Why did they leave?" and start asking, "What was God protecting in me?" Because there is something in you that must be protected. There is a gift in you that cannot be handled carelessly. There is a calling in you that requires an atmosphere of peace. There is a sensitivity in you that was never meant to be mocked. There is a level of discernment in you that cannot keep living under constant noise. There is a future in you that cannot keep asking old rooms for permission. So God begins clearing. He clears the crowd. He clears the noise. He clears the false responsibilities. He clears the emotional agreements. He clears the places where your gift was being used, but not honored. And at first, clearing feels like loss. But later, you realize it was protection. At first, it feels like loneliness. But later, you realize it was consecration. At first, it feels like silence. But later, you realize it was God lowering the volume of everything that competed with His voice. At first, it feels like rejection. But later, you realize it was alignment. Chosen one, this is why you must not rush to fill every empty space. When God clears a room, do not panic and invite the old noise back in just because silence feels unfamiliar. When God creates distance, do not immediately chase what He is trying to gently remove. When God slows communication, do not force conversations just to prove the connection still exists. When God closes an old door, do not keep standing there interpreting the closing as your worth. A closed door does not always mean you were not enough. Sometimes it means the room was not enough. Sometimes it means the atmosphere was not safe enough. Sometimes it means the timing was complete. Sometimes it means God was protecting a gift you kept trying to expose to people who were never assigned to carry it with reverence. This is where you need an inner action, not a physical one. In your mind, picture a suitcase sitting at the doorway of your old season. It is not a real suitcase. It is the invisible place where you have been storing every emotion you plan to carry forward. Now look inside it. There is fear in there. There is the need to explain yourself. There is the pressure to be understood by everyone. There is the old habit of shrinking to keep peace. There is the bitterness from being used. There is the suspicion that says every new person will hurt you like the old ones did. There is the scarcity that tells you provision will disappear if you stop controlling everything. There is the guilt that tells you your growth is betrayal. Now, without moving your body, let your spirit remove one thing from that suitcase. Choose the one weight you know cannot come with you. Maybe it is guilt. Maybe it is resentment. Maybe it is the need to be approved. Maybe it is the fear of being alone. Maybe it is the belief that you are only valuable when you are needed. Place that one thing on the floor of the old season in your imagination. Do not argue with it. Do not explain to it. Do not pick it back up. Just leave it there and say inside yourself, "This cannot come with me." That is not a small sentence. That is a threshold sentence. This cannot come with me. Because what you carry determines what you recreate. If you carry bitterness, you will interpret every new relationship through old injury. If you carry scarcity, you will mismanage new provision through panic. If you carry shame, you will hide in rooms where God is asking you to stand. If you carry people-pleasing, you will turn your new home into another place where everyone has access, except God. If you carry the need to be understood, you will delay obedience until people approve what only God can confirm. So choose carefully. The new season is not asking you to arrive with nothing. It is asking you to arrive with what is holy. Bring wisdom, bring discernment, bring gratitude, bring discipline, bring humility, bring faith. Bring the lessons, but not the chains. Bring the memories, but not the bondage. Bring the compassion, but not the old agreement to be used. Bring the love, but not the fear of being unloved. Bring the testimony, but not the prison. This is how you pack for divine relocation. You do not pack everything. You pack what can serve the assignment, and you leave what would sabotage the atmosphere. That is why God is dealing with your attachments before He reveals the full address. Because the address is not the only issue. The atmosphere is the issue. The posture is the issue. The version of you crossing the threshold is the issue. A new home cannot feel new if an old spirit keeps decorating it with old fears. A new circle cannot feel safe if an old wound keeps calling everyone dangerous. A new opportunity cannot become fruitful if an old scarcity pattern keeps making every decision from panic. A new blessing cannot rest on a heart that still feels guilty for receiving it. This is why God is not rushing you. He is aligning you. He is not rejecting you. He is repositioning you. He is not embarrassing you. He is educating you. He is not stripping you. He is simplifying you. He is not taking your life away. He is bringing you into it. And I hear the Father saying, "I am not taking you away from your life. I am bringing you into it. I am not removing what is good for you. I am removing what cannot go where I am sending you." Let that meet the part of you that has been afraid, because fear has been telling you that if you obey, you will lose too much. But faith is beginning to show you that if you do not obey, you may keep what is familiar and lose what is assigned. There is a difference between keeping people and keeping peace. There is a difference between staying connected and staying cold. There is a difference between being loyal and being bound. There is a difference between honoring your past and living imprisoned by it. And this is where your discernment must become stronger than your nostalgia. Nostalgia will remind you of the good moments and make you forget the cost. It will show you the laughter, but hide the exhaustion. It will show you the memories, but hide the shrinking. It will show you who they were in one season, but hide who you had to become just to stay there. Nostalgia is not evil, but it is incomplete. It can make a prison look like a home if you only remember the few days when the light came through the window. So when you look back, look with truth. Bless what was good. Learn from what was painful. Forgive what you are ready to release. But do not rebuild a house in a place where God has already lifted the grace. The grace to stay is different from the grace to leave. When the grace to stay is present, you may be challenged, but you are still being formed there. You may feel stretched, but you are not being emptied in a way that destroys your spirit. You may face hard days, but there is still oil on the assignment. But when the grace to leave comes, something changes. You may try to force the old rhythm, but it no longer carries life. You may try to have the same conversations, but they feel hollow. You may try to revive the old connection, but your spirit knows it has shifted. You may try to settle back into the old atmosphere, but peace does not return. That is not you being dramatic. That may be God lifting the grace to remain. And when grace lifts, forcing becomes costly. You can force a conversation, but you cannot force alignment. You can force proximity, but you cannot force peace. You can force an old door, but you cannot force God to bless what He has already completed. This is why surrender is not weakness. Surrender is spiritual intelligence. Surrender is the moment you stop wrestling the old season for permission to become new. Surrender is the moment you stop demanding a full explanation before taking the next faithful step. Surrender is the moment you say, God, I do not understand everything, but I recognize that my peace has moved. Surrender is the moment you let the old place be a chapter instead of turning it into a cage. And when you surrender, something begins to settle. Not because everything becomes easy, not because everyone understands, not because the next door opens instantly, but because your spirit stops fighting the direction of God. Chosen one. You have been fighting movement because you thought movement meant loss. But what if movement means protection? What if movement means preparation? What if movement means answered prayer in a form you did not expect? What if God is not ignoring your desire for home, but leading you toward the first place where your spirit will not have to perform to belong? That is the kind of home He is preparing. Not just a roof, not just an address, not just a new job, a new city, a new relationship, or a new circle. A place where your gift is not constantly defending itself. A place where your peace is not treated as selfishness. A place where your sensitivity is not mocked. A place where your discernment is not dismissed. A place where your presence can finally breathe. But before that place can become your reality, God has to teach you how not to contaminate it with old survival patterns. That is why this part of the journey is so sacred. You are not just being moved. You are being emptied of what would make you misuse the move. You are being healed from what would make you distrust the blessing. You are being strengthened in places where old access made you weak. You are being taught how to leave without hatred, how to grieve without returning, how to love without surrendering your assignment, and how to walk forward without needing every person from your past to clap for you. This is maturity. This is alignment. This is relocation with wisdom. And if you feel the weight of this, do not run from it. Let it tell the truth. Let it show you what you have been carrying. Let it show you who you kept trying to be for people who were never asked to pay the cost of your calling. Because the next place is not just about blessing. It is about responsibility. The gift waiting at your new home is not a toy. It is not decoration. It is not something God gives just to make your life look impressive. It is an assignment. It is a stewardship. It is a sacred trust. And God will not let the wrong atmosphere handle what He has been forming in secret. So if He is moving you, trust that He knows what the gift requires. If He is separating you, trust that He knows what your spirit cannot keep absorbing. If He is slowing you down, trust that He knows what needs to be healed before arrival. If He is closing a door, trust that He knows what would have happened if it stayed open too long. If He is making the old place uncomfortable, trust that comfort would have kept you from moving. And if He is asking you to release what you cannot explain, Trust that obedience will understand later what your emotions cannot understand now, because soon the question will change. You will not only ask, "Why did God move me?" You will begin to ask, "How do I steward what is waiting for me? How do I protect the peace of the new home? How do I recognize the people assigned to the new season? How do I receive provision without fear? How do I carry the gift without returning to the old version of myself?" That is where we are going next. Because your new home is not empty, it has been prepared. And what is waiting there will require a version of you that knows how to enter without dragging the old chains across the threshold. And the reason you cannot drag the old chains across the threshold is because the new home God prepared for you is not empty. It is not just an open space. It is not just a better address. It is not just a new job, a new relationship, a new opportunity, or a new circle. It is an atmosphere that has been prepared for the gift you carry. Chosen one, this is the part you have been waiting to understand. God is not relocating you just to change your surroundings. He is relocating you because your gift needs the right ground. There are seeds that cannot break open in the wrong soil. There are callings that cannot breathe in constant chaos. There are dreams that cannot grow in rooms where your spirit is always defending itself. There are gifts that stay hidden, not because they are weak, but because the environment around them keeps teaching them to stay small. And God saw that. He saw how long you tried to make the old place work. He saw how many times you adjusted yourself to fit into a room that was never designed for the full weight of who you are. He saw how often you lowered your voice, softened your truth, delayed your dream, ignored your discernment, and explained your pain just to keep peace with people who did not understand what was growing inside you. He saw the gift before anyone applauded it. He saw the gift before you had language for it. He saw the gift when you were hiding it. He saw the gift when you were questioning it. He saw the gift when you almost buried it under disappointment and called it maturity. And now He is moving you because the gift cannot stay buried forever. Your new home is not only a place where you will feel better, it is a place where what God placed in you can finally function. That is why the transition has felt so intense. God was not only preparing the room, He was preparing the receiver. He was not only arranging the door, He was shaping the person who would walk through it. He was not only making space for your gift, He was teaching you how to carry it without letting old fear become its manager. Because a gift without stewardship can become weight. A blessing without maturity can become confusion. A new door without a renewed identity can become another room where old patterns repeat. So God has been dealing with the patterns before releasing the place. He has been dealing with your fear before giving you the key. He has been dealing with your guilt before giving you peace. He has been dealing with your need to be understood before placing you where obedience matters more than approval. He has been dealing with your old survival habits before bringing you into an atmosphere where survival is no longer the assignment. This is why your new home is not just ready around you, it is being made ready within you. There are 3 areas God is reorganizing as He relocates you. The first area is your place. For some of you, this may become literal. A new home, a new city, a new room, a new working environment, a new physical space that carries a different kind of peace. For others, it may begin inwardly, a new emotional atmosphere, a new way of waking up, a new relationship with silence, a new ability to sit with yourself without feeling like you are trapped inside old fear. But whether it is physical or spiritual, the sign is the same. God is moving you toward an atmosphere where your spirit does not have to fight for oxygen. You may feel strange there at first. Peace can feel unfamiliar when chaos has been normal for too long. Quiet can feel suspicious when you have spent years waiting for the next problem. Ease can feel unsafe when struggle became your identity. So when God brings you into a more peaceful place, do not sabotage it just because it does not feel familiar yet. Do not decorate the new room with old panic. Do not turn the new atmosphere into another battlefield. Do not keep checking the door expecting the same old pain to walk in. Let peace be new without calling it fake. Let calm be unfamiliar without calling it dangerous. Let rest feel awkward without running back to exhaustion. Because sometimes the gift does not appear loudly. Sometimes the first gift of the new home is the ability to breathe without bracing for impact. The second area God is reorganizing is your people. Your new home will require new alignment. Not necessarily a crowd, not necessarily popularity, not necessarily dozens of people suddenly surrounding you. Sometimes the new season begins with fewer voices, not more. But the voices that remain and the voices that arrive will carry a different spirit. They will not need you to shrink in order to feel safe. They will not require constant performance to believe in your value. They will not punish your peace. They will not mock your sensitivity. They will not treat your boundaries like betrayal. They will not only love the wounded version of you because that version made them feel needed. God is bringing you into connection with people who can recognize the gift without trying to possess it. People who can sit with your growth. People who can handle your clarity. People who do not need access to every private room in your life to feel close to you. People who can bless where God is taking you, even if they were not part of where you came from. But before they arrive, there may be a holy loneliness. Do not panic in that loneliness. Do not fill it with old noise. Do not run back to people who drain you just because the quiet feels too wide. Some empty spaces are not punishment. Some empty spaces are preparation. God clears the room before He brings what belongs in it. And when the right people arrive, you will notice something different. You will not have to convince them that your gift is real. You will not have to bleed publicly before they believe your pain mattered. You will not have to keep making yourself smaller to keep the connection stable. You will feel seen without being consumed. You will feel challenged without being shamed. You will feel supported without being controlled. That is how aligned connection feels. The third area God is reorganizing is your provision. And provision is not only money, though for some of you, financial doors may be part of this relocation. Provision also means resources, timing, ideas, strategy, favor, clarity, strength, wisdom, and opportunity. Provision is whatever God supplies so the assignment can move forward. In the old place, you may have felt like everything required force. You forced doors. You forced conversations. You forced energy you did not have. You forced yourself to stay motivated in places that kept draining the life out of your spirit. You forced yourself to keep performing while something inside you was quietly collapsing. But in the new home, provision will not always feel like force. It may feel like flow, not easy in the shallow sense, not effortless in a lazy sense, but aligned, supported, timed, like your steps are meeting doors that were prepared before you arrived. This is why you must not enter the new season with panic as your advisor. Panic will make you grab what God told you to release. Panic will make you mistake every delay for danger. Panic will make you treat provision like it can disappear at any moment. Panic will make you carry old scarcity into a room where God is teaching you trust. So when provision begins to show up, receive it with reverence, not fear. Do not worship the door. Do not worship the opportunity. Do not worship the person. Do not worship the new address. Receive it as stewardship. Receive it as confirmation. Receive it as responsibility. Because the new home is not just about comfort. It is about capacity. God is increasing your capacity to carry what you once only prayed for. And this is where the gift becomes clearer. For some of you, the gift waiting at your new home is peace. Not the shallow peace that only exists when nothing is happening, but the deep peace that remains even when you are still becoming. For some of you, the gift is clarity. You will finally understand what your next step is, not because every detail is visible, but because your spirit will no longer be buried under constant noise. For some of you, the gift is creativity. Ideas will begin to move again. Words will return, vision will return. The part of you that felt numb will begin to wake up. For some of you, the gift is divine connection. A person, a mentor, a friend, a partner, a helper, or a community that speaks the language of your assignment. For some of you, the gift is provision. A door that was not opening in the old environment because it was tied to the new place. For some of you, the gift is your own voice. The courage to speak without shaking, to create without apologizing, to build without waiting for permission from people who never understood the blueprint. For some of you, the gift is not something coming to you. It is something waking up in you. And that is why the new home matters. Because the right atmosphere does not create the gift. God already placed the gift inside you. The right atmosphere gives the gift permission to breathe. A seed does not become a tree because the soil gives it identity. The seed already carries the design, but the soil matters, the water matters, the light matters, the protection matters, the season matters. And you, chosen one, have been carrying design. Even when you felt delayed, you were carrying design. Even when you felt hidden, you were carrying design. Even when you felt overlooked, you were carrying design. Even when people could not recognize you, you were carrying design. Even when the old place made you question yourself, you were still carrying design. The new home is where that design will begin to unfold in a way that finally makes sense. But listen carefully. When God brings you into the new, you must steward it differently. You cannot recreate the old atmosphere. You cannot use the same emotional habits and expect a different spiritual climate. You cannot bring the old chaos into the new room and blame the room for feeling heavy. You cannot invite every old voice into the new season and then wonder why your peace disappeared. You cannot keep rehearsing the same fear and expect your faith to feel strong. You cannot keep apologizing for your growth and expect your gift to stand tall. So here is the rule for your new home. Protect the atmosphere before you expand the assignment. Do not rush to prove what God is doing. Do not rush to explain the move. Do not rush to make the new season look impressive to people who doubted the process. Do not rush to fill every room. Do not rush to invite everyone in. Let the new season breathe. Let the foundation settle. Let your spirit learn the sound of peace. Let your routines become simple before your responsibilities become large. Let your discernment catch up with your blessing. Let your body learn that it no longer has to live in constant defense. For the first season of the new home, your assignment is not to show everyone what changed. Your assignment is to become stable in what God changed. That means you protect your mornings from old anxiety. You protect your conversations from unnecessary drama. You protect your attention from voices that pull you backward. You protect your gift from premature exposure. You protect your gratitude from comparison. You protect your peace from the need to explain. And each day, ask yourself one inner question. What version of me belongs here? Not what version of me survived there. Not what version of me kept everyone comfortable. Not what version of me was created by fear. What version of me belongs here? The answer will not always come in words. Sometimes it will come as a posture, a calmer response, a slower reaction, a cleaner boundary, a deeper breath before making a decision, a refusal to return to old patterns just because the new feels unfamiliar. The version of you that belongs in the new home is not careless. It is not arrogant. It is not hardened. It is not desperate to be seen. It is steady. It is discerning. It is grateful. It is teachable. It is protected, but not closed. It is humble, but not small. It is peaceful, but not passive. It is bold, but not reckless. That version of you is the one God has been forming through every closed door, every quiet season, every separation, every delay, every uncomfortable sign that told you the old place was finished. And now, there is one more layer to this, because many chosen ones can sense that a gift is inside them, but they feel like something has been dormant, not dead, dormant. Like the ability is there, but buried under mental fog, survival stress, emotional noise, and years of trying to function in environments that kept the brain and spirit in defense mode. You may have felt this. You know there is more in you, but some days your mind feels cloudy. You know you are called to create, build, speak, lead, love, discern, or begin again. But your focus feels scattered. You know you were once more sensitive, more intuitive, more alive, more connected. But somewhere along the way, life became heavy and the signal became faint. And I want to speak about this carefully, because not every spiritual problem is solved by effort, and not every mental fog means you lack faith. Sometimes your system has been trained by years of stress to stay in survival. And when you are always surviving, it becomes harder to hear clearly, imagine freely, create boldly, or receive peace without suspicion. There is a reason rest matters. There is a reason sound matters. There is a reason rhythm matters. There is a reason the atmosphere around you affects what wakes up inside you. Even in scripture, sound was never treated as meaningless. Trumpets announced movement, songs carried deliverance, worship changed the atmosphere, words created worlds. There is something about sound that reaches places logic cannot always reach. And today, even neuroscience is catching up to what spiritual people have always sensed. The brain can be influenced by rhythm, frequency, and repeated patterns of sound. Certain sound-based tools are designed to help guide the brain toward more focused, receptive, creative states. That does not replace prayer. It does not replace obedience. It does not replace discipline. But for some people, it can become a supportive tool for quieting the noise long enough to reconnect with clarity. That is why I want to mention something briefly for those who feel led to explore it. There is a 7-minute audio tool called the Genius Song. It was created around brain entrainment, with the intention of helping the mind reconnect with gamma activity, the kind of brainwave often associated with focus, learning, insight, and flow. I am not presenting this as magic. I am not telling you that one audio track replaces your walk with God, your healing, your decisions, or your obedience. But I am saying this: if you have felt like your gift is there, but buried under fog, stress, and mental noise, this may be a tool worth looking into. The idea is simple. You listen with headphones for 7 minutes a day. No complicated ritual, no long practice, no pressure to perform. Just a short, sound-based practice designed to help your mind move out of survival noise and into a more receptive state. And I know some of you are careful, and you should be. You may be thinking, I have tried many things before. I understand. That is why I am not asking you to believe hype. I am asking you to investigate with discernment. The original price is listed at $49. But the current offer connected to this message is $39. It is delivered digitally, so there is no shipping. It also comes with additional bonuses and a money-back guarantee, so you are not being asked to carry unnecessary risk. If you feel no resonance with it, leave it. But if something in your spirit feels curious, if you feel like this connects with the season of your gift waking up, you can find the information in the pinned comment and description. And please be careful. When something becomes known, copies often appear. Do not search randomly and assume every version is the same. If you choose to explore it, use the link provided below so you can make sure you are looking at the original information, the correct bonuses, and the guarantee. Again, this is not the center of your relocation. God is the center. Obedience is the center. Healing is the center. But sometimes God places tools along the path, not to replace the journey, but to support the person walking it. Now return your focus to the deeper truth. Your gift is waiting, but the gift is not separate from your formation. The gift is not just what you will do. It is who you are becoming while you do it. If your gift is to build, God is making you stable. If your gift is to speak, God is making you truthful. If your gift is to heal, God is making you whole. If your gift is to lead, God is making you humble. If your gift is to create, God is making you clear. If your gift is to love, God is making you wise. If your gift is to carry light, God is teaching you how not to be consumed by darkness. This is why you had to be relocated. The old place showed you what happens when your gift is surrounded by the wrong atmosphere. The new home will show you what happens when your gift is surrounded by peace, alignment, discipline, protection, and divine timing. You are not being moved because God forgot where you were. You are being moved because He remembered what He placed in you. You are not being moved because the old place had no meaning. You are being moved because its meaning has been completed. You are not being moved because you failed. You are being moved because staying would now require you to betray the future God is calling you into. So do not curse the old place. Bless it and release it. Do not worship the new place. Enter it and steward it. Do not cling to the gift. Carry it with humility. Do not fear the responsibility. Let God train your hands as you go. And now, I want you to form one final image inside your mind. You do not need to move your body. You do not need to stop what you are doing. Just let the picture rise within you. Imagine yourself standing before a door. Behind you is the old season. Not evil, not meaningless, just complete. You can see the memories behind you, the lessons, the tears, the rooms where you prayed, the people you tried to bring, the versions of yourself that did the best they could with what they knew. Now look at your hands. There is a key there. Not a key you stole, not a key you forced, not a key you earned by proving yourself to people. A key given by God, and attached to that key is a small weight. That weight is responsibility, not pressure, not panic. Responsibility. The key means you are allowed to enter. The weight means you are called to steward what you enter. Now, in your spirit, place the old chains on the ground before the door. The need to be understood, the guilt for growing, the fear of being seen, the habit of shrinking, the panic that says peace will not last, the suspicion that says every new room will become like the old one. Place them down. Do not carry them through. And hear this, in the deepest part of you. The place is ready, but I had to make you ready too. The gift is waiting, but I had to teach you how to carry it. The door is open, but I had to free your hands from what could not enter. The season is changing, but I had to change the atmosphere inside you first. Chosen one, your new home is ready, but do not misunderstand what that means. Ready does not mean every detail is visible. Ready does not mean you will never feel afraid. Ready does not mean everyone will understand. Ready does not mean the transition will require no courage. Ready means God has already gone before you. Ready means the grace for the old place is lifting, and the grace for the new place is beginning to meet you. Ready means your spirit is being summoned out of survival and into stewardship. Ready means the gift is not behind you. Ready means obedience is the bridge. So now, receive this over your life. May every false attachment lose its power. May every old chain fall from your hands. May every place that no longer carries grace release you without bitterness. May every person who cannot go forward be blessed without controlling your steps. May every fear that tried to dress itself as wisdom be exposed. May every old wound that wanted to manage your future be healed. May every new door open only in divine timing. May every wrong door remain closed, no matter how much your fear wants to force it. May your gift wake up in the right atmosphere. May your peace become stable. May your discernment become sharp. May your heart remain soft. May your boundaries remain clean. May your obedience become stronger than your nostalgia. May your new home be filled with clarity, provision, divine connection, and sacred responsibility. And may you never again call a cage home just because it is familiar. You are being relocated. You are being repositioned. You are being prepared. You are being protected. And you are being brought into the atmosphere where your gift can finally breathe. If this message has spoken to the place in you that knows God is moving you, write this in the comments. My new home is ready. Not because you have every detail, not because you feel no fear, not because the whole path is visible, but because your spirit is choosing agreement with what God is doing. My new home is ready. My heart is being prepared. My gift is being protected. My obedience is becoming stronger than my fear. And from this moment forward, you do not have to beg the old place to become what only the new place was designed to be. You can bless what was. You can release what ended. You can carry what is holy. You can leave what is heavy. You can walk forward without apology. Because God is not relocating you into emptiness. He is relocating you into readiness. And the gift waiting at your new home has been reserved for the version of you that finally has the courage to enter.